Hi everyone, welcome back to Courtney's 5 Critical Classics. This week I'm going to do a topic that coincides with today's anniversary, which is the Beatles' 50th anniversary of arriving here in the U.S. So this week's topic is 5 of Courtney's favorite Beatles songs. So I didn't really know how to approach this because I feel like with the Beatles you should break it down by album or something. It's so hard to just say these are my 5 top favorite. They're all really good, so it's hard to do that. But what I did for this week was I just picked the 5 most played songs on my iPod. So we'll get started. Number 5 is Dig a Pony. This song was off their 1970 Let It Be album. This was a side 1 track. And I loved this song before, and then I got Beatles Rock Band, and it drove me nuts. I had this song stuck in my head all the time because it was really hard for me to play on drums. And I know Rock Band is not the same as actually playing an instrument, and I don't claim to know the first thing about playing an instrument, but I feel like I have pretty good rhythm. I could play the end all the way through, and I could never get through this song. So after a few cocktails and a few nights of painfully trying, I finally made it through this song. So if there's a drummer out there that can let me know if this is, a different beat or count or something, it would make me feel a little bit better about myself for having a really hard time playing this song. This is one of the songs that John referred to as piece of garbage, but I think that's craziness. I love this song. And this was actually played on their famous rooftop concert, and in the live recording of it, there's a miscue in the beginning, and I read in a book that it's because Ringo was holding a cigarette and he wasn't ready, so they had to start over again so he could join in at the right time. So that is number 5. Number 4 is Ticket to Ride. This song was off of their 1965 album Help. And this song holds a very special place in my heart. If you haven't ever heard of Stars on 45, they did a lot of mixing, and I don't know, they wrote or they mashed up songs. And being, a roller skater, as I was back in the day, they used to play the Stars on 45 Beatles version for the roller boogie or bounce skate. And this is one of my favorite parts in the song, in the mashup, so I always loved this one. And this song has, drawn a little bit of controversy about what it actually means, but John Lennon actually said it's Ticket to Ride is slang for a prostitute's clean bill of health. She's ready to go. So I'd like to think that's the real meaning, because that's more interesting. So that is number 3. Oh, sorry, that was number 4. This is number 3. Apparently I can't count today. Came in through the bathroom window. This might make me a bad Beatles fan, but I do have to admit that I love the Joe Cocker version of this song. Of course I like the Beatles version better, but I won't lie, I listened to the other version a lot. This was off of Abbey Road in 1969. This is a side 2 track, and it really was hard for me to not include Something and She's So Heavy on this list, because Abbey Road is by far my favorite album, start to finish. Just love it. But I heard this song was actually about, I think, a groupie tried to, or actually did, break into, I think it was McCartney's house, found a ladder in the back, and she came in through the bathroom window. So it's kind of a cool story. Number 2 is I, Me, Mine. This was also off of Let It Be in 1970. This was a side 1 track. And I think this was the last one the Beatles actually recorded before they split up. George has always been my favorite Beatle, so of course this is going to be one of my favorite songs. And this song was another one of those rock band ones that was kind of hard to play, but I still loved it. And this transition is one of my favorite parts ever. I love how, they're singing and going along and all of a sudden they just rock out. I mean, it's just a great transition in a song. Absolutely love it. And in the anthology, George actually talks about this song, and I will read the quote here. It says, I, Me, Mine is the ego problem. There are two I's. The little I when people say, I am this, and the big I is duality and ego. There's nothing that isn't part of the complete whole. And I think George was, Hindu, and it was something to do with those beliefs, but the nerd in me, immediately was like, oh, it and the ego, So, that was pretty cool discovery for me once I finally read the anthology. So that is number 2. Number 1 is Dear Prudence. This was a side 1 track off of the 1968 White Album. And the story is pretty well documented for this song. Prudence Farrow was in India with the guys, and they were all, praying and going to church, and she was just much more enthralled than everyone else in reaching her higher status, or I don't know, whatever they were doing out there. So she, immediately after church, George and Paul and John, they would all sit outside and jam, and Prudence would run right back to her room. She was not interested in any of that. And so John started writing this song to her, Dear Prudence, won't you come out and play? Because she just, she wanted nothing to do with any of that. She was there and she meant business. So she actually heard the song and loved it and was very flattered. But I am so glad that they wrote this song. I don't know what it is about this song. It's another one of those transition songs. I mean, he's singing to her, come out to play, and then they just start rocking on the drums and just, it isn't the traditional tearing it up, but to me it's one of the best, rocking out songs that I've ever heard. And I was very disappointed in Across the Universe when I heard this song, probably because it's my favorite, and just hearing somebody else sing it was like, no, make it stop. As much as I loved that movie, it was a great movie. They did a lot of great songs in there, and Jim Sturgis, I would love to have his babies. But that's besides the point. Just saying they did a good job on the movie, but I was very sad when I heard this song. Also, another cool tidbit is that Ringo walked out on this song while they were recording, so Paul McCartney actually had to play the drums in this, and I think he does a rockin' job. One of my favorite drum parts of all time, so yeah, that is number 1, and that completes my 5 critical classics this week. I would like to thank everyone for their Facebook suggestions. I will do my best to get to every single one of them. But, I only do one video every Sunday, so it'll take me a little bit. Bear with me. I'll get there. So, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.